What made you choose Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol to be your first live-action film?
I was actually working on another live-action film idea called 1906 and wrestling with the story. And after a while, I realized too much time had gone by and I wanted to make a film. So I started looking around at projects that were kind of on their way. And I had known J.J. Abrams for a number of years, and we'd been looking for opportunities to work together. And I had met Tom right after The Incredibles, and we had a great discussion about what we loved about film. So this was an opportunity to work with both of them in one fell swoop, and on a story that was just full of the kind of crazy set pieces that were really challenging and fun to execute.
You mentioned J.J. Abrams there, who did Mission Impossible 3. Was it a conscious decision by yourself to go for a more gritty feel compared to his kind of glossy take in MI3? In visual terms, I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really stand outside of the movie and look at it that way yet. I'm still sort of inside it. So I think one of the things that intrigued me about this was the premise that Ethan doesn't pick his team, but the team is sort of thrust upon him and then they're isolated. One of the things that attracted me as a filmmaker was that even though the film is pretty fast-paced, it doesn't stay at a constant fast pace. It gradually accelerates and slows down sort of constantly, and there are little tiny intricate sequences as well as huge ones. And so it's always changing the visual approach. You know, some scenes I shot really kind of ragged, handheld, and other scenes are kind of more sweeping and orchestrated, and everything under the sun. So it was really fun to direct on a just a craftsmanship level.
And you shot it for IMAX screens.
About 25 minutes of the film was shot in IMAX, which very few people do, except Chris Nolan maybe, and you know, I was very inspired by what he did with The Dark Knight, filming about a half an hour of it in IMAX, and that's the way I saw it. I saw it in IMAX, and it blew my mind. You know, it reminded me of the power of really, really large screens and really bright, sharp images. You know, I wish more people shot large format film because it's really, you know, amazing. You look at an old film like Lawrence of Arabia, which was filmed in Super Panavision, you know, by David Lean, and if you see it in 70 millimeter on a really big screen, it still just makes your jaw drop, and I think people underrate how powerful that is.
And how do you see IMAX as a storytelling device?
Well, I think principally what I like is that it's a soup to nuts sort of approach. If you actually film in IMAX, you're shooting on really large format negative, and it puts forth so much information that even if you project it on a screen the size of London, it's amazingly sharp. The IMAX theaters, especially the film ones, are designed so that you have to sit forward. The screens are not only very big, but you kind of sit forward so they fill your field of view. And in the sequence, like the sequence where Tom climbs the tallest building in the world in our film, a lot of people have reported having vertigo because it feels like they're going to tumble into the screen. That's cool to work with. I mean, it's just exciting.
How did you find shooting that sequence on that building?
Well, it's difficult. The cameras are big and bulky and noisy, and we, in order to shoot it in a sort of a fluid manner, we had to get our cranes out the windows and take out windows. We got amazing cooperation from the people of Dubai to let us climb all over this really beautiful building. But I don't think that alone, you know, accounts for the sequence. I mean, the main thing is that we have a star who's willing to hang by a very thin wire, you know, a mile above the earth, you know, and that's an amazing thing to have. You know, it's a tremendous benefit for a filmmaker.
As Mission Impossible films have changed director each time, could you see yourself coming back for Mission Impossible 5, perhaps?
I don't know. You're talking to a person who's just delivered this one. It's kind of like talking to someone who's just delivered a child about the next kid. You know, let me sit back and enjoy this.
Let the wounds heal.
Yes, exactly.